Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on the time you get to watch this. Welcome to another of my videos on philosophical challenging ideas that I think everyone should know. Today, we want us to talk about philosophy of death. Yes, that one appointment that nobody will miss or nobody misses. In life, once you're born, there's one sure thing. Actually, they say two: to die and to pay taxes. Let's talk about death. Definitely, there's one appointment that every human being will have to keep. No matter how rich you are, no matter how intelligent you are, no matter how powerful you are, no matter how healthy you are, you will die. I will die. Everyone you know will die. As a matter of fact, most of your friends will not be here by 2080. They will be dead. So everyone will die. Strangely, we spend our time or our entire lives knowing this fact, yet most of us rarely stop to think about it. And that's where the philosophy of death begins. One philosopher took this question very seriously. Albert Camus, a French philosopher, made a shocking claim. He said, "There's only one real philosophical problem, and that is suicide." Camus was not encouraging us to end our lives. He was asking something much deeper. If death is inevitable, if suffering exists, if life often appears indifferent to our hopes, then why continue living at all? Before discussing politics, religion, economics, or philosophy, Camus believed we must first answer a more basic question: is life worth living? Think about it. Everything you build will one day disappear. Every achievement will one day fade away. Every generation will eventually pass away. 100 years from now, most of everyone alive today in this country will be gone. So why do we work? Why do we love? Why do we create? Why do we dream? Why do we struggle? Why do we continue? Long before Camus, another philosopher approached death differently. Epicurus. Epicurus believed people fear death unnecessarily. His argument was surprisingly simple. When we exist, death is not present. When death is present, we do not exist. Think about that carefully. You never experience being dead. You only experience being alive. Therefore, Epicurus argued, death itself cannot harm you. Many people find this comforting. Others find it completely unconvincing. But it remains one of the most famous arguments in philosophy, especially about death. The question remains, why are human beings so troubled by death? Animals avoid danger, but human beings do something different. We know in advance that we are mortal. We can imagine our future non-existence. We can picture losing everyone we love. We can imagine the world continuing without us. This awareness creates anxiety unlike anything else in nature. Throughout history, religions have offered answers. Some speak of heaven, others reincarnation, others spiritual continuation. Religion often transforms death from an ending into a transition, from a wall into a doorway. Whether one accepts these beliefs or not, they reveal something important. Human beings have always searched for meaning beyond mortality, beyond our life. The existentialist took different path when thinking about the issue of death. They argue that death gives life urgency. Imagine if you are immortal, if you had infinite time, no deadlines, no final chapter. Would anything feel important? Would you ever need to act today? Would you ever value a moment with a friend, with a family, with your parents? For existential thinkers, mortality is not merely tragedy. It is what makes life precious, because time is limited, because opportunities disappear, because every choice matters. Here is a thought experiment. Visit a cemetery one of these days. You could go to Langata or any cemetery that's near you. Look at the names, look at the dates, look at the lives compressed into a few words of what's written on the graves or on the cross. Every person buried there once had plans. They had a life. They had ambitions. They had arguments. They had dreams. They had worries. They had projects. Most of the things that consumed their attention are now forgotten, which raises a powerful question. What truly matters? Perhaps the philosophy of death is not really about dying. Perhaps it's about learning how to live. Death strips away illusion. It reminds us that time is limited, relationships matter, meaning matters, character matters. Many philosophers have argued that awareness of death can make us wiser, not because death is desirable, but because it forces us to confront what is genuinely important. So how did Camus answer his own question? If life is difficult, if death is inevitable, if the universe offers guaranteed, if the universe offers no guaranteed meaning, why should we continue living? His answer was rebellion, not political rebellion, existential rebellion. Camus argued that we should choose life anyway, even though life has no meaning, has no purpose. We should choose life, and while we choose life, let's live it. Live it while creating meaning anyway. We should love others, build life with others, laugh with others, be good people. Not because life is easy, but because life is worth embracing despite its difficulties. The philosophy of death confronts the one reality every being shares: the rich and the poor, the famous and the unknown, the powerful and the powerless. Death is the great equalizer, yet it's also the great teacher. The deepest question is not, am I going to die? You already know the answer. The deeper question is, before death arrives, before you die, what will you do with the life you now live? Take a moment to think about philosophy of death. Thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed yourself. This is another of those philosophical ideas that I think everyone should know.